and I give my body what it actually wants. And I don't stress it out with gluconeogenesis, which is every frickin' carnivore and keto's favorite word ever.
Yeah, you see, she doesn't understand it. That's why. Even if you do eat sugar, your body's still going to use that biochemical process, gluconeogenesis. So you looked at like 85% people, men that ate 85% carbohydrates, right? The macronutrients was 85% of the macronutrients was made up of carbohydrates. Then they looked at like 44% and 2%. Gluconeogenesis was about 14% higher after the very low carbohydrate diet. So it's only 14% more, okay? There's only 14% disparity. So it doesn't matter whether you eat a high carbohydrate or low carbohydrate, there's going to be only 14% more in the low carbohydrate. So your liver will produce the glucose whether you eat carbohydrates or not. That's the whole point. So her saying, it's a very stressful thing. Your liver's still going to produce new glucose molecules either way. Okay, there's not a massive change that your body's going to use. It's not like as if it shuts off gluconeogenesis, or that's a bad thing. Gluconeogenesis, that it's there in your body. It's not a bad thing. It's a biochemical process which is going to run either way, whether you eat carbohydrates or not. The fact that we have that process in our body, that biochemical process, to be able to do that, we don't have that in our body for fats, that process. We don't have that process in our bodies to make our own protein. So we don't have the process to make our own protein. We don't have that process to make our own fat, but we do have the process to make carbs because we don't need carbs. That's why we have that process in our body, because we need this essential protein, like the amino acids. There's essential fatty acids, but there's no essential carbohydrates. Because we've got that process. That's why we have that ability. And again, it's not a very stressful one. It might raise your cortisol a little bit, but that doesn't mean that it's a stressful event necessarily. And that, now, if it's chronically high, chronically elevated cortisol, then maybe that would be a problem. But again, even if you do eat carbohydrates and eat a large amount of carbohydrates, you're still going to have gluconeogenesis. You're still going to use protein or glycerol or lactate to produce glucose. That's why we have that in our body.